What? What are you looking at? Oh, jeez.
3 years, Maddie.
I know.
3 years.
I know.
I mean, God, it's taken you so long to get to this movie.
I know.
I mean, MLPG 4 has already ended, and you've barely spoken about it at all.
I know! I know, okay? I got it. I had other things on my mind. Besides, this isn't a My Little Pony YouTube channel. I can talk about other things, you know.
But your viewers deserve to know how you feel about the end of MLPG 4 and what you thought of the movie.
Well...
So why haven't you made a video on it?
Well...
Oh wait, let me guess. You hated it just like you hate everything else, right?
No.
So why the late review?
Mary, I'm warning you.
If you just hate the movie, Maddie, just say so. Why prolong the inevitable?
Because I was dreading it, okay?
Dreading making a video on the movie? Really?
Yes! Dreading it! Dreading the reaction I'd get for daring to say the movie wasn't what we had all hoped for. Look, My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is a show that means a lot to me. It's responsible for creating a fandom that has quite literally changed my life in every single avenue. I have made amazing friends, have met my heroes, who, some of them, have become like family to me. And I met my now fiancé, and will be moving to America to start a new life. This has all happened in part to this show, and me expressing my love for it through my content, might it be my artwork or my videos. It's difficult to put into words how much this franchise actually means to me, and I guess that's why I've been putting off talking about the movie. My channel never started out as an MLP channel, but without MLPG4, I wouldn't be where I am now, and talking about it makes me worry that that's all people watch my channel for, MLP content. And if I was to stop doing that, will people just not bother with me anymore? Will people just forget me?
That's what you're worried about? Pfft, come on, Maddie, you're smarter than that.
Another reason is that the movie just wasn't the magnum opus we were expecting or wanting it to be. Maybe we expected too much from it, and it was doomed to be a failure from the start. However, it's a good thing incessantly perky things are a bit of a guilty pleasure for me, and haunt me in my every waking hours. And the My Little Pony franchise was something I never thought I'd get into so passionately. Fans of the series My Little Pony Friendship is Magic are incredibly devoted to the franchise and by extension loyal to the content creators that make art, music, analysis, reviews or parodies of this show. But yeah, Mary, you're right. My viewers do deserve to know what I thought about this movie. I'm just so sorry for making them wait this long.
And here's hoping they'll forgive you in approximately 40 minutes time.
It feels a little strange going back to talking about My Little Pony, the movie, after 3 years of putting it off, and being asked by fans at conventions why I hadn't made a video on this movie yet. I've avoided writing about this movie because, well, it sort of marks the beginning of my love of this franchise dwindling. And considering this was the first feature-length movie for My Little Pony G4 to get a cinematic release, and no, the Equestria movies don't count, it was, a bit of a disappointment to me.
Blasphemy!
Calm down, Mary. Let me explain, please. The My Little Pony movie is a road trip adventure film, seeing the main six set off on a quest to save their home of Equestria from an evil conqueror, the Storm King. It's a story about friends leaving their safety zones and leaving their family. The strength of their friendship is stretched to its limits, and we know for sure how this movie is going to end. They achieve whatever it is they set out to do and make the world a better place because friendship is magic. It brings back the original voice cast and new characters, voiced by various well-known actors and celebrities, including Sia, Emily Blunt, Taye Diggs, Uzo Aduba, Zoe Saldana, and the Queen of Broadway herself, Kristen Chenoweth, but we'll get to her later. The movie opens with some Pegasi flying through the clouds towards Canterlot. Why these Pegasi aren't the Wonderbolts, I have no idea. That would have been a fun opening, with them doing tricks in the sky and stuff. Even for new viewers who don't know who they are, seeing them do cool tricks would have been really awesome to see, and would break the whole cute girly pony movie trope that most parents were probably expecting to see. Spike is the first of the main characters to appear as he runs through Canterlot past all of the visitors who have travelled to Canterlot for the Friendship Festival. Having a festival is a good excuse for the movie to cram in as many cameos as possible. And you can't doubt the movie's dedication to its devoted fan base, but it's not exactly accessible to any newcomers because fans of the series will geek out playing Spot the Pony bingo here But yeah, new viewers of the movie won't really care. For a theatrical movie to not be accessible to new viewers of the franchise as well as its fans is a bit of an annoyance. Twilight is meditating and panicking over whether or not she can hold 90 minutes of runtime on her shoulders, so asks the princesses for help. But Twilight is worried that they'll reject her. Spike, being her loyal assistant, reassures her that things will be fine and that she needs to remember to... And there we have the movie's first meme face. This would probably be a good time to address the animation in this movie. The animation, though vastly different from Friendship is Magic, is admittedly gorgeous, but it's far from perfect. The movie does away with the TV show's Adobe Flash animation in favour of Toon Boom, resulting in more fluid and expressive character animations, as the trailers gleefully indicate. When combining 2D animation and 3D CGI, there is a danger of the CG standing out like a sore thumb, which it definitely does in this film next to the 2D flat animation. It has been blended here kind of okay, but it seems like a lot of the animation is slower, a little sluggish, and maybe even a little too subtle here and there. To me, as much as MLPG4 has a Disney-esque tone in its storytelling, the visual humour is much more Looney Tunes. And here, the Looney Tune visual humour, like Twilight's smile face, is lost or just doesn't quite hit the mark and comes off more Ren and Stimpy creepy face rather than Looney Tune funny face. CG can be used as a cheap shortcut when on a budget, or it can completely undermine the style and tone a show is known for, and I feel that's what has happened here. The animation and art style change here looks nice, but for me, this movie is too stylistically different for me to consider it an MLPG4 feature-length movie, even if that is literally what it is. It's a pretty looking movie, but I have to ask, why the change? When asked to help Twilight with a light show, the princesses say no because it really isn't needed, and Twilight is overthinking things. She already has the magic she needs for the festival to go well. They're trusting her to do things her own way. Problem is, Twilight isn't exactly sure what her way is yet, and thinks she still needs guidance from the princesses, or at least have them involved somehow in her festival to make sure it is perfect. Luna also name-dropped Songbird Serenade as the main event, this movie needed more horse puns by the way, of the festival. A character voiced by Australia pop star Sia. Fans of the series probably asked why Rara or Sapphire Shores isn't here instead. You know, pop stars within the MLP canon that did actually appear in the series, or asking why they don't have the Queen of Broadway herself voicing the pop star. The fact you literally have the Queen of Broadway and you don't let... We will get to her later. The other three princesses don't really do much in this movie other than, you know, appear and then reassure Twilight of who she is and that she has all the magic she needs to be the lead. Funny thing is, once again, a newcomer to the franchise won't know who these characters are or why Twilight is so intimidated by them or why they're such a big deal. There was a deleted scene that was a short prologue that did explain who the princesses were, with narration from Twilight herself. Celestia for the day, Luna for the night, Cadence for family, and Twilight for friendship. Twilight explains that it's her duty to make sure every pony feels that they belong in this world. The deleted scene also shows the rest of the main six and foreshadows Tempest, who takes over the narration and states that not all plans work out. Why was this scene cut? For time? For relevance? It seems to be a problem that many movies based on TV series has. Time doesn't have to be taken to give vital exposition because the movie already knows its audience. They know how the world works, who everyone is, and are along for the ride, leaving new viewers lost and confused. I personally feel that this was partly the movie's downfall. It made newcomers not feel included, and that is a huge problem for a theatrical release to have, especially when the very job of the main character is to literally ensure that everyone in her kingdom belongs. I'm going to need a pickaxe to mine all of this irony. Rainbow Dash is the first of the rest of the main six to appear as she clears the sky of clouds, later foreshadowing her sonic rainbow. Pinkie Pie makes a balloon Discord, blowing his chances of actually appearing in the movie, and the echoes of the sad cries of Discord fangirls everywhere can be heard far and wide.
Maybe he was waiting for his cue. Get it? Huh?
Go sit over there! Over there! Fluttershy makes a comment of Pinkie Pie being out of control as Pinkie Pie runs over her stage, scaring all of her songbirds away. And Applejack is being hospitable as always and offers her homemade apple cider, which Rainbow Dash snatches up. And Rarity is fussing over the decorations of the stage. Twilight is staring at her list as she walks towards her friends, making sure things are on schedule, but is not seeing what her friends are actually doing or what they're contributing to help. She is also having an identity crisis, and Pinkie Pie then gets right in her face, saying that this day is going to define who she is. Yeah, Pinkie Pie has a bad habit of piling on the pressure without meaning to, and has no idea what personal space is either. But she also says that she shouldn't be under so much pressure because she has all her friends to help. And she's right, but Twilight has difficulty releasing control and delegating tasks out. Yeah, I don't find that relatable at all. It seems that the art of delegation is the one art form that most artists will never learn, in spite of her friends insisting that they're there to help. And in song, no less. Rainbow Dash and the Wonderbolts clear the clouds away, but Twilight is swift to point out the one cloud that was missed. Yeah, she's a perfectionist. Applejack tells her to be honest and to let her problems be known. Friends can pick up the slack. Rarity is all about the attention to detail, and Pinkie is all about the fun and surprises. In spite of all of this, Twilight still thinks it's all down to her to make sure that the day is perfect for everyone, and she still has doubts whether she is ready for what everyone needs her to be. She seems more focused on everyone else's needs instead of her own. She doesn't want to disappoint anyone or let anyone down, so she believes the only way to be sure that doesn't happen is to be responsible for everything and not accept help. Pinkie Pie is the one that's most likely to mess things up for her and is the one who tests Twilight's patience the most. But Pinkie Pie is also the first one to apologise or square up to Twilight when she makes a mistake. I think this is something we can all relate to. The fear of letting people down or disappointing people we admire. This is something Twilight seems to worry about perpetually, worrying about what is expected of her by others, and considering the fact that she is a princess, that's kind of to be expected. No matter what she does or how, she is going to, somehow, let everyone down. This is actually one of Twilight's best traits. Being concerned over disappointing others is a sign that she cares. But she needs to learn that it is impossible to make everyone happy, because throughout life we do encounter people who will have different expectations of us. Living your life in constant worry of letting others down will actually prevent you from finding true happiness for yourself. Getting insight into your people-pleasing is a key way to move beyond it. Does Twilight manage to do this in this movie? Well, this is where the roles of her friends come in. Real friends recognize your strengths and weaknesses and will confront you when you are making mistakes or screwing up. Real friends do this because they care about you. Though the main six do try to do this throughout the movie, their quirks are played up more and kind of overshadow their strengths, which we don't get to see much of. But at least it's being acknowledged. The best way to deal with people pleasing is to set yourself emotional boundaries. That may seem like a rather selfish concept, but it's true. Twilight as a princess needs to not only learn to accept when people she admires, like the princesses, say no to her, but also learn to use the word no in a kind but firm way. Figuring out core values in these characters is something I wish was explored more. It's funny I bring this up because the reason I was putting this video off was because of the fear of disappointing my fans when I reveal my feelings on this movie. The irony here is that in delaying this video and not making it at all until now, I've already disappointed fans. And also disappointed myself. But I think now it's done, people will see why I put this off for so long. I mean, just look at how long this video is. Look out! It's the plot! Apparently Amazon delivers by dirigible now. Fun. Anyway, one of the dirigible lands and a small Wolverine or badger thing? Creature named Grubber walks down the ramp to deliver the movie's plot and to announce the movie's villain, the Storm King, who appears on a banner on the side of the dirigible.
And now, to deliver the evil message!
Yeah, deliver the evil message, because that's what all evil villains do. They walk around evilly shouting, "Here comes my evil plan," monologue scene. Because I'm evil! So here we are introduced to a character that arguably steals the show in every scene she's in. But Tempest is also a bit of a fan's self-insert character, an edgy, tragic and damaged character who has disowned pony society. Tempest is a unicorn with a broken horn, who works for the Storm King and demands for Canterlot to surrender and for the 4 princesses to give her their magic.
Tempest, is it? How may we help you? How about we start with your complete and total surrender?
Hi there, Princess of Friendship. Not exactly sure what's going on, but I know we can talk things out.
Here's the deal, ladies. I need your magic. Give it up nicely, please, or we make it difficult. For everyone.
Oh look! Another reason why that deleted prologue scene that explains the magic of the 4 princesses shouldn't have been cut! It also would have been nice to see the magic the princesses had before they were shot into narrative limbo by Tempest's magical grenades that turned them to stone. Instead, just before they've turned to stone, Celestia tells Luna to go south to find the Queen of the Hippos.
Horrified pigeon!
Excuse you.
Sorry, it's an involuntary callback reflex.
Twilight doesn't get caught though because Derpy, the true hero of the movie, think about it, saves her and is turned to stone instead, giving her and the rest of the main 6 a chance to escape.
Don't tell me. They're about to go over a huge waterfall.
Yep.
Cliche story about friendship with an inevitable breakup scene after Twilight does something stupid only for them to reconcile later because the fate of the world is at stake?
Most likely.
Bring it on.
I think my bottom's on backward.
Ah, of course, because we can't have an animated movie for kids without a joke about butts, can we?
Celestia told Luna to find the Queen of the Hippos. Luna can't, so I have to. But they're always hungry. Hungry?
Hippos?
Yeah, because kids still play that game and get that it's funny because Hasbro made the game. Because they also made My Little Pony. You know, Hasbro made Ouija boards as well, right? Maybe we can, call upon the dead to help save this movie? Kids will get that, right?
Manny, I found this in the toy aisle. Looks like fun. Can I get it? Can I?
Don't be silly, Mary. That's not a toy. What is that? No, you don't want that.
Why, of course she does, dearie. Little Mary is merely curious about the vast possibilities the dead have to offer.
Wait, the dead?
Little?
Yes, indeed. The living have questions and the dead are happy to help. You may ask how this is possible. Why, thanks to Hasbro's own Ouija board, of course. You, too, can also get answers from Satan.
Well, Ouija, Mr. Probably Not Evil Guy. Tell me more about it.
Did he just say Satan?
The dead have many names and forms. Quickly light the candles and figure out the secrets of the universe with your new dead best friend Zuzu. Figure out everything from your destiny, when you'll get a raise, or even if the boy next door has the hots for you. Now everything is at your fingertips. Simply call up Splitfoot with the included planchette and you'll be converting with Lovecraftian intelligence in no time.
Well, jeepers, that sounds like fun for the entire family.
Zuzu? What a dumb name. Zuzu. Something burning?
Simply call up Splitfoot with the included planchette and you'll be converting with Lovecraftian intelligence in no time. Order now and receive a free exorcism.
Yeah, no thanks. Oh, hey, look! A clown doll that definitely will not kill me in my sleep.
For the love of all things me, why aren't I putting this fire out?
I'm ready to save Equestria. Yay.
And Fluttershy successfully manages to both reflect the parents forced to watch this movie level of enthusiasm when they realise there's still 117 minutes left of the movie to go. And yet fans still freak out because of the callback to the episode Sonic Rainboom from season 1 of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic, when she's learning how to cheer for Rainbow Dash when she pulls off her signature move.
Yay.
God, this movie knows its audience. Meanwhile, some expositional dialogue is being spewed everywhere by Tempest and the Storm King via an unnecessary joke about video calls. was that the dial-up tone from the 90s for the internet? Kids these days will never know why this noise brings back really bad memories of suffering.
Where am I supposed to be looking?
Over here, Your Excellency.
Where?
Over here.
Huh?
No, right. Look right.
My right?
Yeah.
God, it reminds me of trying to show my parents how to use FaceTime. You know, when the villain of your movie doesn't even know how to do a video call properly, you're hardly showing him to be a threatening presence. I know this was meant for laughs, and the Storm King is meant to be a funny villain, but you can still have a funny villain and have them be threatening and funny at the same time, without making them stupid or inept. I could think of a pretty good example of a character where they had the right balance of being funny and threatening. But if we went off on a rant about how bad a villain the Storm King is compared to Hades, I think this video would be over 24 hours long. Tempest has to explain what the staff is to him. That's obviously for the benefit of the audience, and how it will make him powerful. The guy can't even use his own staff without Tempest telling him how. I bet this guy needs help how to work a Blu-ray player, never mind a magical staff. After explaining how the staff works to him, the Storm King reminds Tempest that he's the only one that has the power to heal her horn. If she fails him, it is implied that he will hurt her or kill her or something. This would be intimidating if it, you know, was said by an intimidating villain. Why does Tempest believe he can or will heal her horn? In fact, now that I think about it, do we really need the Storm King in this movie at all? Couldn't we have had Tempest be the main villain? I mean, she pretty much is at this point. I mean, she is clearly smarter, more cunning, more intimidating, as well as far more interesting a villain, because she's a pony who has lost faith in friendship and has clearly abandoned all of what being a pony means in this world. We can still have her be the one who wants to control the staff, believing it is this magic that will restore her horn and therefore her power, but I guess we'll get to that later. Hey, isn't it about time we check back in with the main characters to make sure they haven't died yet? Apparently it's just a short walk from Equestria to a scorching desert, where a place named Cludgetown, hope I've said that right, populated by anthropomorphic creatures who live with no magic exists. Pinkie Pie announces to the town they are looking for the Queen of the Hippos, and attracts the attention of the civilians who want to buy them.
I want all 7 for my collection!
Do you think this is what a pony convention feels like to the voice actors? Hey look, a talking cat! We've never seen that in MLP before! And yeah, Capra is an anthropomorphic cat, the first anthro character to appear in My Little Pony since Katrina. Unless you count the diamond dogs. Do we count the diamond dogs, Mary?
What are you asking me for?
Yeah, I don't know.
Stop trying to improv and stick to your script.
Capra is a charmer and a trickster who, like a Pied Piper, guides the ponies to his home through song to be collected by the crime lord Verco to settle his debt. Keeping the ponies there for just a few minutes, Rarity generously fixes his outfit up as a thank you for helping them get through the city safely. Twilight, though, doesn't trust Capra at all, and she finds a map that shows that they're looking for the hippogriffs, not the hippos.
Glorified pigeon. Continue.
And that they're on Mount Eris. And Capra was about to guide them to an airship when Verco appears at the door.
These ponies better shoot rainbow lasers out their eyes if they're gonna settle your debt.
It's a funny joke because, you know, they do. In fact, they make a habit of it in the series, which new viewers won't know, so this joke will be lost on them. Verco exposes Capra's initial dishonest intentions, and then Tempest shows up, trapping the main six further. The main six manage to escape capture thanks to Verco underestimating Tempest, who electrocutes the guy. Anybody hungry for some cooked naked mole rat? Pinkie Pie once again screws things up by bouncing on the tightrope that leads to the skiff falling to her doom, and Twilight luckily rescues her. And Capra tricks Tempest into going east in the opposite direction the ponies are actually going in after they escape on a skiff. The main six are now stuck aboard Solano's skiff, and after Capra tried to sell them, Twilight is understandably wary of trusting anyone. The movie kinda slows down here while we get to know Captain Solano and her crew. They learn that the crew are basically a delivery service for the Storm King. Twilight asks if they can deliver them to Mount Eris, but Solano says no, because if they disobey the Storm King's orders, they have to face his wrath. With that said, Twilight shuts down. This is starting to bother me, how Twilight is being so overly cautious, not because she's protecting her friends, but more overly cautious to just get to where she needs to go safely because of mistrusting anyone, even her friends. She seems angry and frustrated with her friends more than anything, and almost sees them as a burden, silently judging them. Pinkie Pie especially, who often rushes ahead without thinking. You could say that Twilight is justified for being frustrated with her friends who are along for the ride, because really, they don't really do much in the way of helping her. If anything, they slow the progress down. But Twilight needs her friends for emotional support. because whether she likes it or not, she lacks the diplomatic skills that her other friends have. Did we need them all along on this adventure? Probably not, but they each get a moment to shine, whether it be plot-driven or character-driven, so I suppose that's entertaining. But the pacing of this movie suffers because of the number of characters we have fighting for the spotlight.
Pudding? There's pudding?
Pudding. Pirates?
Swashbuckling treasure hunters. Yeah, the fact that in children's media they ignore the fact that pirates are criminals and robbers and violent attackers because everyone knows a good pirate shares, kids! While aboard Solano's skiff, the main six never once mention that the Storm King has taken over their kingdom and they don't ask them for their help. Rainbow Dash takes it upon herself to remind Captain Solano and her crew who they once were before the Storm King took over, through song, much to Twilight's protest. Breaking into song at the drop of a hat? Who does that? In celebration of throwing the rulebook overboard instead of, themselves, Rainbow Dash demonstrates her sonic rain boom, not thinking that it may give away their location to Tempest. Twilight panics but doesn't yell out to tell her to stop, possibly because she was being drowned out by Pinkie Pie, who was cheering Rainbow Dash on. Why none of the other main six twigged this would also give away their location and shout to Rainbow to stop, I have no clue. Also, why didn't the ponies tell Solano that the Storm King had taken over their kingdom after they won their trust, instead of just messing around having sword fights and stuff? Did they forget they had a kingdom to save for a moment? Or maybe they were lulled into a false sense of security and Rainbow Dash was too complacent to remember until it was too late and Tempest skiff chases after them. Solano tells the ponies to hide below. Gee, it sure is nice of the Storm King to use Tempest's colour scheme for the skiff. After seeing the rain boom, Tempest realises Capper's betrayal and boards Solano's skiff. Twilight still doesn't trust the pirates and says they need to leave the ship before they tell Tempest they were bored.
All we're hauling is Storm King merchandise.
Buy our toys, kids! Buy our toys! Rainbow Dash argues the pirates won't give them up after they help them get their mojo back, but Twilight doesn't believe her and instead figures out a plan on her own. Seeing how her friends are all either having breakdowns, panic attacks, just done with the situation, or whatever Pinkie Pie is doing, Twilight takes it upon herself to get the main six off the ship herself. After they escape, Tempest blows up Solano's skiff. So, what happened to Capper and Solano and the rest of her crew? Bah, who cares? We need to move on to the next group of new characters to meet. They finally arrive at the Hippogriff City on Mount Eris, but discover that the entire city is now in ruins. Feeling confused and a little bit defeated, the ponies wonder what they're supposed to do next. Then they hear some haunting singing coming from a cave. Here is where I try in vain to keep my fangirl under control, because it's Kristen Chenoweth and she's my favourite singer ever. I just can't resist. I mean, can you blame me? It's not like the movie took any advantage of the fact that she can do this kind of singing. I mean, even the terrible CGI animated movie Strange Magic had her singing more than she does in this movie. Heck, even VO2 had her singing a crescendo at one point. So permit me to make a few jokes while I utilize Kristen Chenoweth singing a lot more than this movie ever did.
It's coming from over there.
I'm not even sorry for editing that part in. You know what? I could have done it a lot worse. Oh no, wait. This would have been the worst one to use. added that part because Kristen Chenoweth really should have done a cameo of singing that song. That would have been hilarious. After they almost drown, Twilight and the rest of the main six wake up with bubbles around their heads and a mysterious light hovering around them. Twilight immediately tells the mysterious light about the Storm King taking over Equestria, and Princess Skystar appears. Well, this is a surprise. A character asks, "How do I know I can trust you?" And Twilight immediately tells them why they're there and who they're looking for. What happened to that cautious mistrust, Twilight? Oh yeah, we need to move the story along and have no time for mistrust. Alright, at least not until later, I get it. After Princess Skystar takes them to her mother, Queen Novo uses the pearl to change the main six into the movie's new toy line tie-in, in revealing a powerful artifact that Twilight believes they could use to make themselves into something powerful to fight the Storm King. Queen Novo points out if the pearl ends up in the hands of the Storm King, it could be disastrous for everyone, and says the pearl is going nowhere and that her priority is keeping her own kingdom safe. Defeated, the main six wonder what they can possibly do now. So much for calling upon the sea ponies when you're in distress, huh? I do appreciate that Princess Skystar is also cautious at first until she hears about their plight with the Storm King. She relates to them instantly because her own kingdom was also attacked by the Storm King, and she reveals that the sea ponies are the hippogriffs, having two forms, sea ponies underwater and hippogriffs on land. I like this idea of having the sea ponies be these shape-shifting creatures, allowing them to be on land and in water. But I do wonder if somehow they underutilized Skystar and the hippogriffs as a whole in the movie after all that build-up to find them. I don't know, it seemed that more could have been done here. Maybe more time should have been spent with them than Captain Solano. Did we spend too much time aboard that skiff? Probably. So, about Skystar. Am I the only one who thinks Skystar should have been a lot younger? I mean, she talks like a teenager or even a little kid and has imaginary friends, Shelley and Sheldon. She speaks to her mum like a little kid does.
These are the first guests we've had in like forever. Can we?
And Pinky cheers her up in a way an adult would cheer up a child. Why doesn't Skystar offer to convince the Queen to help them come up with a plan and have Twilight say no, doubting Skystar's ability, forgetting she's a princess as well, mirroring her own self-doubt as a princess onto her, a younger and maybe smaller princess who doesn't have any insecurities or doubts on who she is or what she can do? Imagine if the main six travelled all the way to the sea ponies only to find out the one character who does want to help is a child. Wouldn't that have been more interesting? Underestimating a child character only for her to come through for them later. It would have made the hippogriffs much more memorable and would have made the song One Small Thing a lot more relevant to the story. No, instead, they made Princess Skystar into what is essentially a mirror image of Pinkie Pie. An airheaded, naive, lonely, eccentric, bubbly, chatty and curious but doomed to be bored forever character who makes friends out of inanimate objects. Pinkie Pie cheers Skystar up with a song, One Small Thing, the most Disney-esque of all the songs in the movie, reminiscent of Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast. At least to me, anyway. The song would have made more sense if Skystar herself was a small character. I don't know, maybe this is just a nitpick, and I'm complaining about what the movie isn't instead of focusing what it is. And though, yeah, I was disappointed that Kristen Chenoweth had a duet in this movie instead of a solo song, One Small Thing is still quite a memorable song. In fact, it's probably my favourite song from the whole movie. Twilight insists using Pinkie Pie to distract Skystar and the rest of the sea ponies and the main six to attempt to steal the pearl. And this is probably the biggest problem in this movie. Twilight stealing the pearl. What? Twilight herself single-handedly renders the quest to find the hippogriffs absolutely moot. She loses faith in herself and in her friends to the point of using Pinkie Pie to distract Queen Novo and Princess Skystar while she steals the orb. Princess Skystar's desperate need for friendship and company is taken advantage of here, and I absolutely hate it! Look, you can have a character have insecurities and failures, have them make mistakes, have them mislead and lie if you have to. But this came out of nowhere and felt forced because we had to have the breakup scene before the third act, didn't we? We had to have Twilight believe in a magical artifact to save Equestria instead of in their own magic or, rely on other characters. Maybe Skystar is the one who attempts to take the pearl to help the ponies instead, and Queen Nova blames the ponies, believing they convinced and manipulated Skystar into doing so, and banishes them. This way, the eventual breakup would be more about the fact that Twilight feels even more insignificant and useless after being unable to convince the sea ponies to help. Pinkie says she tried to help by cheering up Skystar, and Twilight says, how could she help? She's just a child. But Pinkie Pie points out, she's a princess just like you. We were trying to be friends with her. And Twilight says, well, maybe she'll be better off without friends like you. We still get the breakup scene, but we don't have Twilight trying to take the pearl. It may not feel as personal or dramatic, but story-wise to me, I think it would have worked better this way. And Twilight still fails friendship. It's still about her failures. This way, we could have had a scene where Skystar appears from the sea later on after Twilight is captured, and also shows she's managed to convince the rest of her kingdom to help, showing that one small thing can make a really big difference, and shows that it doesn't matter how big or small you are. Instead of having her be the only hippogriff to help, and having her not actually be brave enough to approach her mother to explain the situation fully. This was so disappointing. Anyway, shortly after the breakup scene, Twilight gets kidnapped by Tempest. How did they find her? Who cares? Tempest needs to sing her show-stealing power ballad. Why did Kristen Chenoweth get a duet and Emily Blunt got the power ballad of the movie? This is just an angry fangirl rant here. Blunt can sing, there's no doubt about that, but come on, movie! Why didn't Skystar get a solo song? All of the build up to meeting the sea ponies and she doesn't even get a song? Really? Not even a nod to call upon the sea ponies when you're in distress joke? No? Okay, great. We do get a scene during Tempest's song about opening up your eyes, a flashback to her past showing how she lost her horn. It's shown in a different cutesy style, so we pity her more and understand why she's doing what she's doing. It is a good song, don't get me wrong, and it's interesting to learn more about Tempest and her motivations, but why did she get the power ballad and not Princess Skystar? I know this is just a fangirl just complaining about what could have been. MLP has always been about atonement, and that is an admirable theme, and it has been handled well here. Tempest Shadow very much steals the show in every scene she is in. She wasn't originally meant to be a villain though, but simply a wild unicorn who had left Equestria to live on her own in the wasteland. She has the strongest arc in the movie, which is far more interesting than the main story. In fact, in early drafts of the movie, Tempest was a male character and was Celestia's brother. Imagine how different the movie would have been if we went down that route. The song Open Up Your Eyes is about not counting on anyone else, which Twilight hasn't been doing throughout the film. She wasn't betrayed, she betrayed her friends. So what if she lost all faith and trust and started to believe what Tempest was saying in her song is right? Did we really need the cliche trope, you're like me, I'm nothing like you thing? Also, Tempest calls her Little One. One small thing can make a really big difference. Tempest's song is about not relying or counting on anyone else, and yet she herself is counting on the Storm King as he promised to restore her horn to her. The hypocrisy here is delicious. I love how Tempest doesn't believe in her own philosophy. While waiting for the dust to settle, the main six are giving Twilight some space while also processing everything that has happened and wondering if the whole trip was in fact a mistake. Spike tells them that Twilight has been taken, and Captain Solano and her crew appear. How did they survive the skiff being blown up? I guess I'll just put that down to kids' movie logic. And something else we're going to put down to kids' movie logic is how they got back to Canterlot so fast without a skiff. They sneak into Canterlot via a Trojan horse cake, with Captain Solano and her crew, and Princess Skystar, I think, hiding inside it.
Oh, hello, Cake.
The cake is a lie! Cake or death? Well, I choose cake. We're gonna run out of cake at this rate. So, Mr. Henchman, tell me what's on your mind. There's an idea. Dr. Wolf, if you're watching, you should totally make a moment with Dr. Wolf involving one of the Storm King's henchmen. That would be hilarious. Make it about the one that has a short therapy session with Fluttershy. You should totally do that.
Maddie, are you improvising again?
No.
You better not be because you suck at it.
Can I just point out that this movie was the first time that Spike actually uses his fire in an aggressive way. Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed that Spike wasn't kind of used more than, you know, just a prop or a comedic joke in this movie. I mean, yeah, he does give Twilight pep talks at the beginning and in the third act, but it's very brief. I would have liked to have seen more of that. Pinkie Pie uses her cake cannon to fire the main six into Canterlot Castle, where they just assume that's where Twilight is. Good job, that is where she is. The Storm King has, of course, broken his promise to restore Tempest's horn and has now gone mad with power. The staff is knocked out of the Storm King's hands and is now stuck in a stained glass window, causing a storm to go out of control. So let's talk about the Storm King. We really didn't need this guy in this movie at all. I'm all for villains who have a sense of humour and have fun with being evil, but frankly, I was expecting an intimidating villain. The real driving force for the conflict was Tempest. We didn't even need the Storm King in this movie. The Storm King felt stupid to me. The real driving force for the conflict was Tempest. Tempest should have been the main villain of the movie. The Storm King is loud, angry, and crazy, but thanks to Tempest's more subtle and frankly more intimidating approach to planning, expanding his empire, he manages to succeed in taking over. But I wonder what he would have done without her? Like, how did he acquire the staff in the first place? The Staff of Sakanas is a found object obtained by the Storm King and came from the Tree of Harmony. In earlier versions of the movie, the staff was stolen from Scorpan, a character that has been synonymous with MLP since G1, who sadly never appears in G4 other than in books and mentioned in name only. It would have been nice if Scorpan appeared in this movie. Tempest is more held back, subtle and calculative. Having a pony as a villain would have been very interesting to me, and Tempest for sure steals the show and is the most interesting character in the movie because of this. But it's a shame because I was more excited in the lead up to the movie and seeing Princess Skystar. Tempest could have found that she could not control the magic of the staff and Twilight had to save her from it. Then after that, Kappa, the pirates and the hippogriffs work together to fix everything. Tempest accepts that the magic won't heal her horn, but she can fix what she's done and learn to trust again. Now that the main six are back together and have made up, sort of, they work together to reach the staff before the Storm King does. Twilight's magic has been drained, so she can't just use it to reach the staff.
We've got this.
You know, I know Twilight is saying that we've got this together, but you know what would have been cool? If she had the help of the main six and Kappa and Skystar and the rest of the pirates to help her reach the staff, showing she is learning to put trust in her friends, old and new. She doesn't really reconcile with any of the other characters here. Twilight manages to reach the staff, but Pinkie Pie loses her grip on her and she is swallowed up by the storm along with the Storm King and the staff. Combined with a futile hoof reach, Pinkie Pie screams a big no as Twilight disappears. You know, it's strange, but throughout the movie, Pinkie Pie and Twilight are the two main characters that have butted heads the most. Pinkie Pie leaping ahead of the crew, or being too trusting immediately, or just plain stupid, is the polar opposite of Twilight's cautious mistrust. The fallout scene involving Pinkie Pie confronting Twilight for using her to distract Skystar, taking advantage of Pinkie's naivety, would have felt a lot more personal. They're giving no time to reconcile before or after Canterlot is fixed. For a movie that focuses on friendship, it would have been good to show a proper emotional make-up scene between Twilight and Pinkie Pie, as well as the rest of the main six, as well as perhaps a moment where Twilight acknowledges Kappa, Skystar and the crew respectfully, thanking them for their help and apologising for not trusting them or asking for their help. It would have made Pinkie Pie's almost comical big no come off as much more dramatic. Instead, it's almost laughably silly when she's trying to be serious. Oh, by the way, was anyone else reminded of the scene from Basil, the Great Mouse Detective, when Basil and Ratigan fall to their deaths off of Big Ben here, when Twilight and the Storm King are lost in the storm? You see, Basil survived that because of his ingenuity and quick thinking. Twilight survived this because she's the main character. Believing the Storm King to be dead, the main six celebrate Twilight's fake-out death scene, and Tempest gets her moment to shine as she throws herself in the line of fire when the Storm King sneaks back onto the balcony to make a last-ditch attempt to turn Twilight to stone. The magic instead hits Tempest and the Storm King, and they both begin to fall over the edge of the balcony, slowly turning to stone themselves. Tempest is saved by Twilight, and the Storm King falls to his doom, smashing into pieces when he hits the ground. pretty nasty way to go if you ask me. I wonder though, if the Storm King wasn't here, that we could have had a moment where Tempest sees that the staff is not under control yet, sees it going to cast another spell and throws herself in the line of fire to protect Twilight and the main six. After saving her, we have a repeat of the line Twilight says to her earlier. Why did she save us? Because that's what friends do. And then Tempest sees that the only way to control the staff is to have friends around to help control it. They release the magic to fix everything in Canterlot to bring things back to normal. How this works, I'm not entirely sure. See, we really didn't need the Storm King at all, but I guess we have to have some kind of villain to die at the end of these movies because, you know, we have to stick to that formula. The ending seems to leave all of these vital moments out to make time for the final musical number. Twilight spends so much time with Tempest instead that I feel that the lesson and moral is placed on Tempest's atonement instead of Twilight's resolve with herself and her friends. I feel that Tempest should have been the one to approach Twilight for forgiveness instead of Twilight reaching out to her to join the party at the end. It just felt a little unnatural to me.
More friends are definitely merrier.
More friends are definitely merrier, huh? You might want to go and apologize to, you know, the other guys that you didn't trust at all. Just pointing that out. The ending song could have been Sia, Skystar, Capper, Solano and Tempest singing together, with Skystar getting a solo. Yeah, I'm just going to complain about that for the rest of time. The movie suffers from a painfully predictable plot and far too many characters to keep track of, meaning that many of them are crammed in, left in the dust, or simply underdeveloped or ridiculously underused. The movie doesn't take advantage of the potential the lore of this show actually has either. Equestria itself is full of mystery and history that is barely touched on in this series, and I was hoping to see some questions answered about exactly how the magic of Equestria works, more about the four princesses and how their magic intertwines, or maybe about where Discord came from originally. What we get instead is essentially another Disney princess movie. The movie takes Twilight and all the main six off on an adventure outside of Equestria, which raises even more questions that inevitably go unanswered. Instead, it's very much a showcase for a toy line, and it's painfully obvious here that that is what it is. And it's, funnily enough, self-aware of that. Instead of story being its biggest strength like it is in this show, and why the show is so popular, its strength is in the songs, which stop the story dead. Leaning heavily on the animation style and not enough on the characters in the story, the movie is sadly a huge disappointment to me. Don't get me wrong, this isn't a bad movie by any means. In fact, I think it's beautiful. MLP has a clear Art Nouveau style, and this is pushed further in this movie, especially with Canterlot itself, characterised by sinuous lines and flowing organic shapes based on plant forms. This has evolved in this movie beautifully. Though admittedly the movie does stay faithful to the franchise and it stirs up a lot of nostalgia for long-term MLP fans, but to anyone new coming to the table, they'd probably see it as mind-numbingly simple. It did, however, serve to expand the world that MLP is set in, and though the Friendship is Magic series didn't take as much advantage of this as I would have liked, it was still nice to see some consistency marrying the two together. Like the series it is based on, it misses out on diving into the potential that is the lore of Equestria itself, which, let's face it, was probably what fans of the show wanted in the first place. I also wanted to see what the rest of MLPG4 would do with an expanded world that the movie delivered, and sadly the show didn't really do all that much with it. Yeah, it's stuffed to bursting at the seams with sweet messages about kindness and friendship and blah, but let's be honest here. We all need some positive messages from our movies instead of constant doom and gloom, especially right now. But with all that's wrong with the movie and all the things that I was disappointed with, what the movie didn't do, the fact that we have a beautiful 2D animated feature-length MLP movie in a day where CGI animated films dominate the industry, I will always be grateful that this film got a theatrical release. It truly was wonderful to watch a Western 2D animated movie in theatres again, the last time being Princess and the Frog from Disney. It pulled on nostalgic heartstrings and helped this franchise to evolve beyond a simple toy line, and it was self-aware enough for it to be funny without relying too much on pop culture references. It's far from perfect, but I do believe this is the MLP movie we deserve. I want to say that MLP for me has run its course, but if I do find a reason to return to the franchise for G5, which is coming soon, I doubt anything's going to stop me from doing that. This show and the fandom means the world to me, and as an artist and YouTuber, It is important to find your niche, but also remember to be eclectic. Dive into other subjects. This franchise was the vehicle that took me far beyond anything I expected. I wonder where it will take me next. I'm Mad Munchkin. Stay creative. Yeah, so like I said in the description for this video, this is technically a re-upload of a video that was taken down by YouTube and blocked worldwide for reasons. And I thought, I worked really hard on this video and I thought, yeah, I need to put this back up. But I thought if I did a quick re-edit, because I wasn't 100% happy with how the video turned out, and the last few seconds of rendering somehow skipped in the first upload, so I needed to fix that. So this is why this video was re-uploaded. It just really meant a lot to me to put this back up. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it, and if this is the first time you've watched it, well, thanks a lot for the support. And as always, I want to thank you to those that support me on Patreon, because, you know, I wouldn't be able to carry on all of this stuff that I do on YouTube without you guys. So I'm going to do a quick shout out. If you want to support me on Patreon, you can do so by following the links in the description below, and you can join my Discord server as well as a bunch of other rewards. So here are the shout outs for this month. We have Gareth Alford, Pyrodron, Rainbow Dash Fan, James the Brony, Devon T. Gering, or Gering, I'm not sure, Risky Dragon, OLD, Seeker, Sanjay, DK, DELC17, Transformer Brett, Invisible Gust, Picademus, CT Stormwing, CT0798, Mayan Jinx, Tristan and Milner, Peter Naters, Kick-It6, Patrick Gardner, Steamworks, The Wicked Merman, Nukas the Name, Alex Hunter, Brongar, Unknown 620, Charles Meeker, Seth Richards, Aces Wild, Mystic Mind, J-Rog 1989, Meg the Pict, Rocky Harmony, and Pedro Lopez. Once again, thank you to everyone that supports me on Patreon, especially the top patrons that I just gave shout outs to. Really appreciate the support, guys. Take care, stay safe, and all that other nonsense.